Welcome to episode 325 of the Whatnauts review show, where every episode we pick a story and we talk about it. This can be a movie, a TV show, a comic book, all sorts of genres, all sorts of mediums. My name is Melissa Wilkinson. I am joined, as always, by Kyle Springer.
Melissa, I had no idea that you were written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
Right. This whole time I thought my dad did it. This is my real dad.
A case of mistaken identity.
Now, this is a t-shirt from Super Yaki, which does a lot of goods for film nerds. This is the same company that did my coordinating shirt written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
I figured, yeah. That's good. How are you? How's your weekend been?
Oh, pretty frantic. You know me. I pack it in.
Sure, yeah. That's
you wouldn't believe what I got up to this week.
Fun fact about Melissa. She packs it in.
I frequently have something I have to do every single night of the week. This week's plans included seeing living legend Diana Ross in concert and seeing living legend, the guy who created the Svalbard Global Seed Vault, live in lecture.
Cool.
Do you know what that is?
No, not at all.
The Svalbard Global Seed Vault, it's in Norway, the top of Norway. It's in like the Arctic Circle. It's a bunker built into the side of a mountain, and inside are all of the world's seeds. It's a Noah's Ark of seeds, so that if there's a disaster, we can grow our plants again.
Oh.
And that guy who did it, he's just listed as father of the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. And I'm like, father is not a specific professional title, but okay. He came to our local plant science center to give a talk. Pretty illuminating.
Interesting. I'm looking at pictures of the thing now. This is a really interesting looking building. It looks like a giant book that's like sticking out of the side of a mountain. It's real thin. And I'm assuming it's like stairs or something into what is like inside and underground.
It's pretty monolithic looking because most of it is buried under snow. It's just like the big black rectangle from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Just stuck in the Arctic.
Interesting. You learn something new every day. I went to go see living legend Shin Godzilla, the giant lizard himself.
Yes.
That was my first time watching that one. I had not seen it. It'd been on my list for a long, long time because of the guy that directed it. Also directed Neon Genesis Evangelion, one of my favorite animes. And I had missed when it came out in theaters, and they have a 4K re-release that they are putting out, and it's now back in theaters because of that. So I went to go see that. That's what I've been up to recently.
Cool.
So there you go. That one was not written and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson.
I'd love to see his take on it. I'd love to see who would he cast as Godzilla. That's my question.
That would be
Jesse Plemons.
Right? Yeah. Oh man. So yes, Melissa. Speaking of Paul Thomas Anderson, what are we talking about this week?
This week we are talking about his 2012 movie, The Master. PTA is one of my favorite directors. His new movie, One Battle After Another, comes out in a few weeks. You've never seen any of his films.
And really, yeah.
No, I thought The Master would be the best route in for you personally.
Yeah. Like you said, I'm not super familiar with his filmography. I've heard his name, right? Like I know him by name. But yeah, I just hadn't really dived into his filmography, and seeing the trailers for One Battle After Another, I was like, oh, that looks fantastic. Like I'm excited about that one. And so you were like, well, we have to do a little bit more to kind of help prepare me for what I might expect in that. And yeah, you recommended The Master. You recommended a few other ones to me kind of behind the scenes, but
you had options.
yeah, we decided to go with this one. I think it was a great pick.
Good.
I find this movie really interesting. And I say that knowing that I use the word interesting very often, and most often than not, it ends up becoming this kind of cover word for kind of anything, right? Maybe I do actually find something interesting, or maybe I just don't know exactly what to say or how to describe it. I truly think this movie is interesting, and I feel like I went on a journey with this one, because about halfway in, I was like, oh man, Melissa, I don't know if I'm liking this one.
Halfway.
Right, yeah. But then even by the end of the movie, like there's really not much that happens in terms of plot. So I can't say like the movie is like loaded in the back half of stuff and it's like, aha, there we go, that's the movie. But it's one that sits with you, and one that I think the more you think about the film, the more like legitimately interesting it becomes. Because I feel like there's a lot of layers to this that you can unpack and talk about and look into whether or not it's true. I feel like this one will have some good discussion for sure.
Terrific. Well, I'm happy you enjoyed it. This is one this was my second time seeing it. It is an example of my favorite subgenre of film, which I call the buffoon drama. A movie that's not so comedic you could call it a comedy. It is decidedly a drama, a capital D drama, but it just has a real bozo at the center of it, and you just watch this man make terrible decision after terrible decision. That's my favorite kind of movie. Man fucks up.
Yeah. Here I go again. It's an interesting one because he's screwing up, but like I don't necessarily know if he knows he's screwing up.
Yes.
And then there's times where you're like, oh, he totally knows what he's doing. He's doing this on purpose. But maybe not. Because like we'll get to the plot synopsis in just a sec here, but yeah, like there's maybe some issues with this guy, but then the other character that this kind of centers around too is almost the flip side of the coin of this thing. He's almost the same character, but what if he was put together? Right, like in charge of all of his mental faculties and is charismatic and so on, right? But maybe has some of the same issues or like other issues that are producing a similar effect where it's like, does this guy know what he's doing? I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but maybe he does, right? And yeah, it's like that to me is what's so interesting is I feel like there's a lot to be said here about the dichotomies in this movie and the like it's two things but similar or it like they're a reflection of one another. I think that's in the film in plenty of ways. So
when I had a Mr. Robot experience watching this movie, by which I mean going into it, I knew there were two actors and two characters, but I didn't know who was what. I did not know who was the master going into this. I think I thought it was a hapless Philip Seymour Hoffman who stumbled upon cult leader Joaquin Phoenix. And at the end of the day, it isn't not that. That's the fun of this movie. Who truly is the master? Yeah. We also do have a Mr. Robot moment in the fact that I don't think you mentioned that Rami Malek is in this. Yes. Playing your dumb son-in-law, Clark. A great role for him. Yeah. I think he's after our money. I love when he calls calls Joaquin Phoenix a lunkhead and then just wordlessly screams at him. There's great stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
I would like to read the plot description from the little Google sidebar.
Please.
Freddie Quell is a troubled, boozy drifter struggling with the trauma of World War II and whatever inner demons ruled his life before that. On a fateful night in 1950, Freddie boards a passing boat and meets Lancaster Dodd, the charismatic leader of a religious movement called The Cause. Freddie tries hard to adhere to Dodd's weird teachings and forms a close bond with his mentor, even as other members of Dodd's inner circle see him as a threat.
Yeah. Whatever inner demons he might have, you know?
It's a mystery. Yeah, yes, big hand wave. This is a movie that takes a while to get to where it's going. And it's so funny that finally, like 25 minutes in, Lancaster Dodd's boat just drifts past in the harbor, and Freddie Quell's like, I'm getting on that boat. Like, he just hops into what the movie has been supposed to be the whole time. He's just like, well, I'm done with this preamble. Time for the movie to start.
It's like when you're on a road trip, right? And you see some cows on the side of the road. You just go, cows. That's exactly what he does. He goes,
yes.
Boat, and then just hops on the boat.
I'm doing that. What else am I up to? What else have I got to do?
Yeah. Man, I ended up really liking this one a lot. It sat with me in a way that I did not expect. I think it was also neat to see a role for Jesse Plemons in this.
Yes.
I think this was 2012, so Breaking Bad was kind of big in the popular sphere, and he's in that. And I think that was the first time that I saw him in Breaking Bad. And I was not familiar with his career, if he had much of one before that. But I've seen him in a bunch of things since then. But this would have been right around that time. So it's interesting to see him like, oh, I know what he did in Breaking Bad, and then what he does in here, and they're just completely different roles. Stuff like that, but it's good, it's fun, and this got nominated, I think, for a couple Oscars. I don't know if it won anything, right? It was like best actor, best supporting actor, and best supporting actress, I think. Let's
see. Yes. Yeah, it was nominated for all 4 acting awards at the Oscars. Oh no, hold on. No, one of those is a BAFTA. Lead actor, supporting actor, supporting actress, which is Amy Adams in a career high.
That's an interesting one. No offense to Amy Adams, I think she did fantastic in the role. I don't know if there's enough meat on that role for them to really be like, oh yes,
I would
best
like
supporting
more
actress. Yeah, like she just seems like she's there in the background, which sure, I guess that supports the film, right?
We'll get into it.
I don't know. Yeah. Plot wise, is there any other thing that we want to add to the little description that you read there?
I think it does a good job summing up the plot of the movie, and the themes are, as I mentioned, who truly is the master in this dynamic? Who is, if this is a competition, and is it? Who is winning at any given moment? Yeah.
It's an interesting one for sure. I promise I will try to stop saying that word from here on out. I really liked Philip Seymour Hoffman as Lancaster Dodd. I think that was a great role. I think Joaquin Phoenix is just exciting to watch. There's a moment in here when it's towards the end, so I won't give context and spoil it, but he smiles, and it is maybe one of the most sinister looking things on cinema I have ever seen.
things.
And it's not supposed to be a sinister moment.
The generalized thing. His smile is a thing. It's not a smile.
It's right. It's not necessary, but it's just like the way it's shot and lit. His smile, the way he has the like Kubrick stare, and it's just. But like, it's so interesting. God damn it! It's fascinating for me to see that picture, because that's not what the like emotion of the scene is. And that's why I'm so fascinated by, like, it's so sinister, but it's not. So good stuff there. Good stuff. Highly recommend. I think I watched this on Tubi is where I
believe
watched
I
it.
also did.
Yeah. So if you guys want to go check it out, that's where it is. But yeah, highly recommend checking it out. This is one I don't, for as good as it is, and I think for as much kind of praise as it got, this is one I hadn't really heard of until you mentioned it. So probably flying under a number of people's radar. But good stuff. Good stuff there. Let's take a quick break for some housekeeping. And then when we come back, let's dive a little deeper into the film. What just happened? My Discord freaked out there for a second. Melissa, you disappeared, but you're back. Let's take a quick break for housekeeping. And when we come back, we will dive a little bit more into The Master. Thank you so much for checking out this podcast. We hope you're enjoying it. If you didn't know, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and a lot of hard work goes into making them, so we would love it if you check them all out. But none of this is possible without your support. Head over to patreon.com/thewhatnauts, and you can get access to over 40 hours of exclusive content, including our Patreon first podcast, The Pilots Club, when you sign up at our $3 tier. Of course, there is a free version of the Pilots Club available, but episodes are exclusive to our Patreon for 2 years before they hit the free feeds. If you're interested in buying merch, we have shirts, hoodies, mugs, and more for sale over at thewhatnauts.com/store. Another great way to help us out is by subscribing and leaving a nice rating and review on your podcasting app of choice. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel for video versions of the show, trailer reactions, and live streams. And lastly, you can always find out more information about the shows we make on our website, thewhatnauts.com. All right, we are back. Once again, a big shout out to our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much.
You.
It means a ton. We appreciate it. Over on the Pilots Club, right after we record this episode, Melissa, you and I are recording our Pilots Club on Numbers. Episode 1, number 1. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We've been doing the Year of the Detective over on the Pilots Club, and this month is Detective, but Numbers. Hence, Numbers.
And boy, is it numbers. You've never seen so many numbers. More numbers than a phone book.
Yeah. Apparently, there's also a Korean show called Numbers.
Yes. I tried to find it on Prime, and they only had the Korean version. I had to go to like Fandango at home.
Oh man, yeah. So we'll be recording that. That'll be out for the month of September. So go check that out. And then over on the free version of the Pilots Club here in September, we are releasing our episode on Winning Time: The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. A show that I wish got a third season. Real good. Go check it out. Right here on the review show, the previous episode, we read a book on the podcast. The second time that we've read an actual book here on the show. We read Secret Identity by Alex Segura. It's a crime noir novel set in the mid-70s in the comic book industry. So I had a good fun time with that one. And then over on the captain's log, I am desperately out of shape. Dark Melissa showed up, and we talked about Honey Don't and the new trailer to Marty Supreme. So go check out all of the stuff that we've been up to over there on the captain's log as well. That's about it for housekeeping. So let's get into spoilers for The Master. All right, here we are. Just a quick anecdote. As I was watching this, or like right after I had watched this, I Googled something on my phone, and of course, when you word a question a certain way, and it's maybe not as specific as it could be, the search results may vary, right? And you know how it works now. They have the like generative AI preview. They have like a sponsored result or two. Then maybe an actual website that just has good SEO. But then underneath that, they sometimes have the like, here's other things that people asked. Maybe you'd like to look at that instead. So I was thinking on a theory of like how much of this movie is even real. Right, because we have one character who's suffering from PTSD. He seems to kind of maybe not be all there mentally or stuff like that. So
what, did you think this was a Fight Club?
No, but kind of, right? Of like how much is Lancaster Dodd like an actual person? Is Lancaster Dodd real? And so I typed that in, not realizing that it's going to be like, yes, he's a fictional character. And I'm like, no, Google, I know that he's not real, but is he real in the movie to the other characters, right?
What are the theories? Yes.
Right, yeah. So I'm scrolling on these search results that are not giving me exactly what I was looking for, except that the AI preview did confirm what I also saw on their Wikipedia page. That's God, what's his name? Lancaster Dodd is based off of L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of Scientology. And one of the the first question of like users also searched for this thing was, is Paul Thomas Anderson friends with Tom Cruise? I was like,
they did work to.
All right, I understand why people asked that. I just thought it was really.
They did work
funny.
together in Magnolia. I love Magnolia. I thought this would be a better entry point for you than that, but I always want to talk about the movie Magnolia. That is a movie that will stick to you. Yeah. I'll remember Magnolia until I die. And there is a really one-of-a-kind Tom Cruise performance in that.
Nice.
He hasn't worked with PTA since then in 1999, but he's a guy who does a bunch of the big name directors once, and then we'll also find his Christopher McQuarrie and stick with that guy for a decade.
Sure,
so who knows? Who knows if Tom Cruise took this movie personally?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I just thought that was a funny experience to be like, oh, all right, Scientology. I see what's happening here. Good stuff. So, yeah, my theory. Is whatever's happening real? Who is the real master here? What's happening? I don't actually think that Lancaster Dodd is a figment of what's his name's imagination. I do think they are like two actual people, but this movie definitely revolves around this idea of which one is the master? Which one's in control here? Who's really influencing who? this kind of like mirrored image of people and stuff like that, which is why I was like, all right, maybe on the like fringe theories out there, there's something of like, and this guy's not even real.
Like those theories about the Big Lebowski that Donnie isn't there.
Sure, yeah.
Steve Buscemi is just a figment of your imaginations.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not quite on that level. There's plenty to go off of, even surface level. That's what I like about Paul Thomas Anderson. His movies are dense in that way. They're multi-layered. You can get there's enough surface level content for you to take like 3 watches just to get all of that.
Yeah.
And then you can start the deeper analyses on subsequent viewings.
Yeah. Interesting. So one of the movie posters, not the one I have up on screen right now, but one of the movie posters is set up like a Rorschach test.
Yes.
Thing. And of course they do some Rorschach testing in the movie. But a lot of the movie posters also take this idea of like a folded piece of paper, which is also kind of how you can create your own Rorschach test, right? You put like some ink or something on one side of the page and then you fold it in half, and it's supposed to like, make a mirrored image. So yeah, like there's that kind of imagery in the movie. The movie poster I have up on screen right now has Joaquin Phoenix in the center, and then on each side of him in like an infinite mirror kind of effect, almost. On one side is Lancaster Dodd, and then on the other side is Amy Adams's character, and it just kind of rings home this idea of like the persona, like who like what is your identity? How do you create your identity? Who are you influenced by? Is it nature? Is it nurture? How do you see yourself? Right. All of that stuff. And there was a particular shot in the movie that I really, really enjoyed that I think is a much more subtle look at a dichotomy that is not necessarily a mirror of things, but an interesting like juxtaposition of imagery. Where it's on the boat and it has like the hand railing right down the center of the picture, and Joaquin Phoenix's character is going down the walkway on one side, and there's some other people coming that way, but it's this like controlled environment, right? It's cleaner. There's like an order of like, oh, when you walk, you're supposed to walk on that side. I'm walking on this side. Like even if stuff is happening, there's an organization to that. And then, of course, they're at sea. So there's these like crashing waves on the opposite side where it's all foamy and chaotic and you can't see. And right. It's just this nice juxtaposition of like order and chaos. That I was like, that I think that's kind of what the movie is about here. This look at order and chaos and who's really in control and who's influencing who here. Is the waves pushing the boat around, or is the boat navigating the waves to get to where it needs to be? Right. Stuff like
eternal struggle.
Right. Yeah.
I think our 2 leads are very well cast to play a dichotomy, just in their physical presence. Like sweet baby angel, the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's a rotund fella. He's round. He's ruddy cheeked. And then you have Joaquin Phoenix, who's folding in on himself like a rhombus. He refuses to stand up straight. He's the worst posture of anyone I've ever seen. He's like greasy and unkempt. He won't look you in the eye. He won't stand up straight. And then there's Lancaster Dodd, who's very official. Like, he's very well spoken, he's very gentle, he's very thoughtful, he's polite.
Mhm.
They look so different, they talk so different, they behave so different. He's facing the light, and Freddy is like hunkered in the shadows. And when they first really talk to each other on the boat, you have all of that. You've got one of them's wearing red, one of them's wearing green. There are these two opposing colors on the color wheel. Like, it gives you everything to say these men are opposites. And then you watch the journey over the course of the movie. You think it's one character who's going to get the other one under his thumb, and it backfires. It doesn't work. And then at the end of the movie, you have Lancaster Dodd asking Freddy, like, come back, stay with me. But if you leave again, I never want to see you again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a relationship that they have that is like addicting to one another.
Yes. Yes.
Because that, like, each one I think truly feels like they can get something out of it, or help the other person in some kind of way. I think Freddy like feels special when he's around Lancaster Dodd, right? In a way that like pumps his ego up to be like, I'm important. I'm doing something that matters. I'm helping this important man here. Whereas Lancaster is like, man, like, what a schmuck. I can totally control this guy. He's the perfect specimen.
He's a pet. He's like, hey, everybody, come look at my new pet, Freddy, who's going to follow me around and do tricks for me. And I love the scene where so Lancaster Dodd's family has gotten to him, kind of convinced him, like, this guy's a bad character, get him out of your life, we don't trust him. And almost to like push him away, but not actually ask him to leave, Lancaster's like, I'm going to give him this test where he has to put his hand on the window and not just describe like literally what he feels, but like psychically, what does he feel? And then he has to walk across the room, touch the wall, and do the same thing. Back and forth, back and forth. You can see that this is a test designed for him to fail or to drive him crazy, to make him storm out and leave. And he does it for like 12 straight hours and it doesn't break him. He kind of overcomes it. And then that is what breaks Lancaster. Like, oh, I tried. That didn't work. Now what do I do to get rid of this guy? And now I'm impressed. And maybe he's more spiritually in tune with the universe than I am.
God, there's an episode of Community that is the exact same plot. The exact same plot as that. They're running an experiment on students. They like get them in this waiting room and say like, oh, all right, the experiment will start in about 15 minutes. And then it's like goes on like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, all of that stuff. And then they come back out and be like, all right, the experiment will start in about 15 minutes. And then 20 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by. And they're monitoring the students to see like how far can they just have them sit here in this room being told that like things will start in just a little bit, and Abed is the only one that stays for like 7 hours just sitting there like happily being like, all right, cool, thanks, right? And I think his name is Professor Duncan, played by John Oliver, is just like, what is wrong with him? Why is he here? What is he doing? And he gets driven crazy. He's broken the experiment. It's the exact same thing. Yeah.
Terrific. Lancaster is interesting in that he has built up this whole cultish mythology, and it seems like he's just trying to ride the wave of being important, and he doesn't even believe in it that much, because there's the scene with him and one of his followers, Laura Dern, and he's come out with the second book of his teachings, the long-awaited second book, and she's immediately started reading it, and she comes up to him and says, there's something in here that contradicts what you said in the first book. So, like, what's true? And you can tell he's like, I don't care. I didn't think about it that hard. Everybody kept pushing me for a book, so I just wrote a book. And he's like, what does it matter? And he has to just keep bullshitting his way out of these. He likes the power. He likes the influence, but also he's not as demanding a person as you would expect in another movie about a cult leader. Like, he has a good lifestyle. He has a boat. He travels around. He's very popular. He's a socialite, but this isn't a situation of a tremendous amount of sacrifice. He's not as rich or as powerful. He doesn't have a whole, like, coven of women exactly. He's not even doing everything with his power that you'd think he would.
Or at least the film's not showing it.
Yes. And there is the scene where Freddie looks at him as he's like dancing and singing around with his friends, and Freddie sees every woman nude. He's like, look at what you could have in the palm of your hand. He's like, look at all these women you could bed. But we don't have any evidence that that's how Lancaster is thinking about any of this.
Yeah. It's funny to see their juxtaposition, because that scene in particular where he imagines all the women naked is just kind of this idea of the way that Freddy conducts himself is he just kind of acts on instinct. These animal base pleasures and stuff. He needs to eat, he needs to fuck, right? Like that's what he's there for. That's all he exists for. He does not care about the cults. He does not care, right, about the religion that he might be in. He one of the first things he does when he's there is he's just like exploring the boat. He's in like it's not a library section, but they're like listening to some radio something. Yes. And he just sits down and writes a note. Like,
so it's all of these young people, a lot of young women sitting down listening on headphones to I guess Lancaster Dodd's audiobook, and they're all taking notes, and he goes in there, and what he writes on the piece of paper and slides over to a girl is, would you like to fuck? Smiley face.
Right, yeah. Like hands her this note. And like that, like that's what he's there for. He's there to make this poisonous alcoholic drink with paint thinner and all sorts of other stuff in it. He's like even before when he's working at the like bank or like mall place. I'm not sure what it was exactly.
He's
like the
working
store.
in he's the portrait photographer in a department store.
Yeah, there's a model who's there that he like sneaks away with into the back room to do some stuff. He's just kind of acting on these things that it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here and imagine all the women naked. Like he no thoughts but titty, right?
Yes. I love the bit at the beginning of the movie when you see him as a seaman in World War II. It's him and his buddies on an island, and it wasn't clear to me, like, is this like a rest break? Are you stranded here? What exactly are you all doing on this beach?
They just seem kind of stationed there for a while, yeah. Yeah.
His buddies, not that they're really friends, but his cohorts make this woman out of sand. They just form a naked woman out of sand. And then Freddy's like, oh, what if I humped the sand woman? And everybody laughs for like a minute, but then he keeps doing it. And he takes the joke way too far, and everybody gets uncomfortable and leaves. And then later it cuts to him like just sleeping on the sand, snuggled up against this naked sand sculpture like it's his mother.
Yeah. It's stuff like that is what he's acting on. And then like what you started to get to is you would think Lancaster God who's in this position of power and influence over people might be taking advantage of that, right? Might be sleeping with a number of these women because he wants to, or because says his new religion must sire heirs, or who knows, right? It is an act of service to your God or something. I don't know. But like, he's, at least from what the film shows us, he's not doing that. He's not really interested in that per se. And so yeah, it is this like, that's what we expect of him, but he's not doing that. This guy is.
Yep.
And it's just this like weird opposites of like, here's this guy who has no influence except for on this one person, right? But has no power over anyone. But he's the one that's out there being like, you want to fuck? Let's do it. And like he's
Smiley
taking advantage of that, right? And it seems to work out for him for the most part.
And when they encounter a conflict, Lancaster will try to academically blowhard argue his way out of it, and Freddy will fight you.
Throw a boom,
I love
fight.
the scene. There's the scene when the two of them get carted off to jail. And they're both in jail cells next to each other. And he's still handcuffed and he's just standing there waiting. Like, eventually somebody will bail me out or they'll come to talk to me. I'll be able to reason my way out of this. And Freddy has gone feral. He's kicking, he's screaming. As soon as he's in here, he breaks his own toilet. He's just surrounded by porcelain shards. He like throws the mattress off the bed. He's just wiggling around like the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, how did you feel? Because you talked a little bit about Laura Dern's character, who mentions the inconsistencies there. How do you feel about Amy Adams and the other characters kind of around them watching all of this happen?
I love Amy Adams in this movie because she's so severe. She's such a taskmaster. It's not a type of character she typically plays. She's usually a little more sympathetic and heroic. And when you meet her, she's pregnant and she's wearing that mid-century pregnancy smock like Lucy wears when she's pregnant with little Ricky on I Love Lucy, which I think is the most humiliating piece of clothing to wear. The mid-century pregnancy smock, like, you are making a child, now you must dress as a child, like you're indecent, your mere physical state is indecent. We're gonna put this like massive piece of fabric on you to like hide you. It's not a powerful, high status piece of clothing to be in, and that's all she wears the whole time. And you expect her to be this rule follower, this wallflower, this loyal follower. And you get the twist that she is more adherent to the cause than Lancaster is. It seems like Lancaster kind of just wants to ride the wave while maybe doing as little as possible besides just being a gadfly at parties and talking and talking and then doing these experiments, which is just him talking. And she's like, no, I believe in something. This is greater. And what she says is, this is the sort of thing you do forever or not at all. When he wants to ask Freddy to join them again in London at the end of the movie, she is strict about this. And the fact that she's more into it than he is. And like, she's almost keeping him in line. He has to live up to her demands as his number one follower. And he is, we've talked about how it's a question who is really the master, but the master is what they call him. That's what they call her also. Everybody addresses her as Master Peggy. So she is a person of respect in this community. She's reached like the highest level except for him, it seems like. And she is kind of trapping him into continuing this, you wonder. Like if he just wants to slowly ease out of it and just do like party tricks and go to parties and live like a popular, socialite life. And she's like, we're doing important work. The studies
Yeah.
must continue.
Yeah. In the way that I kind of mentioned previously of like what is your identity? How do you make that up? What goes into all of that? Something I saw online that I thought was pretty neat was this idea that the only two, like when they're talking to Freddy, and like digging into his past, the only two things that like make him angry is when they mention his mom and when they mention this past lover that he like the one that got away, right? And so obviously has some kind of something there with how he views women in his life and stuff like that. But his mother is in some kind of psych ward. And so I'm on one hand, I was like, I am kind of confused as to why he has not taken to Peggy more in all of this, if he is there to just drink and have sex, right? Like, why is he not kind of like putting a wedge in between them in multiple ways here? But then he almost like doesn't bother with her, not in a way that he's like ignoring her, but I almost wonder if he has like a respect for her in the way that he does not have a respect for him. In the sense that like he's angry that his mom is considered insane or something like that. And maybe the way he remembers his mom or wants to remember his mom is much more like what she is. And that's why he's like both kind of respectful, but also standoffish, right? Like,
I think it also has to do with her being pregnant. Maybe that just takes her off the board as anything to Freddy. He's like, well, I'm not having sex with her. I'm not seeing her. I'm not seeing her as an object of desire or as a threat. He sees her nude the same way he sees every other woman nude, but she's in the background. She's not the focus of that shot. Yeah. He's not lusting after her, at least in this condition. In so many other pieces of entertainment, especially not from the time that this was made, but the time in which it's set, a pregnant woman is a non-entity. She's not a power player in a story. And I think that makes Amy Adams' character that much more interesting, that she has this thing that should take her off the board, but she's in there. She's got her teeth out.
Yeah. She is a fascinating character, for sure.
When she gives Lancaster the hand job, the aggressive hand job, and she says, I don't care what you do, as in any affairs you might have with another woman. She's like, as long as I don't know about it and nobody I know knows about it. And it's almost like she has placed that as a rule over the entire film, that we don't see him have anything like an affair with anybody. We don't get hints of that. We can imagine that might be happening. It's theoretically possible, but we don't see it because she decreed we would not know of it.
Right. Yeah. Or like, hey, is there something between him and Freddy? Right? Do they have some kind of sexual something going on? Who knows? And then we kind of briefly already mentioned Rami Malek's character. I like him a lot because he feels like he's like married in to the family and is trying to take everything seriously. And he is like genuinely believing and putting his all in, but almost in this like, and I need to impress my wife and impress her parents
in kind of a sycophantic way. Yes.
Right,
like, I'm good. I'm thank you for accepting me into your family. I'm going to prove that I'm good. I'm going to be daddy's helper. How
Yeah.
do I help daddy? And there's Jesse Plemons, who's not in this movie as much as you want him to be. There's a lot of big group scenes with actors lurking around the background, around the edges of the frame. He's in it a lot, but he's not as much of
Not
a
many
player as you'd
speaking
like him
roles,
to
yeah.
be. Yeah, he is. There's him and the daughter, Rami Malek's wife, who are from some original marriage who we don't hear anything about. And Amy Adams, I guess, is a new wife. They've got another little girl who's like 3 or 4 years old. Seems like you can imagine that Lancaster was married, had these two kids, started getting into these ideas. Maybe he left his wife or she left him. She's not in the picture anymore. She's not mentioned at all. And he's got this new wife who's now charted a course for their life that is based around these new the cause he's starting to develop. And the daughter buys into it, at least enough. She plays along. She's part of it. She's a daddy's girl. But Jesse Plemons hates it. And he's just sort of, it's ambiguous exactly how old they are. I'm like, you seem like you're old enough that you could be like living on your own, having a job somewhere. Maybe it's that he wants to ride the sort of fortunes of his father, but doesn't like the conditions through which it comes. You know?
Yeah.
I'll accept the bounty of my father, but I don't respect him as a man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He's it's almost like when we watched Sunshine, where like the cast is just so stacked. But at the time that movie came out, a few of these actors, like they have a career, but they weren't like at the height of the career that they are at now. So it was just, like it's interesting seeing a Jesse Plemons in there being like, oh man, he's a great actor. Oh, he's barely in this.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Cool.
That happens.
Yeah. I like that there are these. I keep using that word dichotomies, right? There is the one who wants to impress and be the helper. There then is the one that's like, yeah, but I like. I'm fine hanging around here, but I'm not as gung ho, right, as everyone else is.
And the fact that that's not a source of conflict in the movie. There doesn't seem to be ill will from Lancaster back to his son.
Yeah.
Which is just more evidence to the fact that Lancaster is maybe kind of checked out of this. Doesn't take it as seriously as anybody thinks that he is.
Yeah.
He's like, if my son isn't into it, fine. What am I going to do?
Yeah. He'll write book 3. The two sabers. Like, they've already been split.
Yeah, my son's
so
going to take over.
Two separate sabers.
Like the Dune series.
All right. Yeah. I think great supporting cast. As much as I said, like, I don't know if Amy Adams really had enough to do in this to get that nomination. Good for her, because she's still great in that role, right? But yeah, great supporting cast. Back to the relationship between Freddie and Lancaster Dodd. I do want to talk about that end scene in London where they're confronting each other, because that smile that I mentioned earlier is just haunting. Like I'm wondering if this is one of the roles that got him the role as Joker down the road.
Definitely.
Yeah, had to have been. But yeah, it's such a wild scene to me, because he goes from this like smile that looks so sinister but is meant to be a genuine smile, right? And also immediately when that smile goes down, he's crying, like immediately. Like there's such a flood of different emotions in that scene. It's an incredible bit there. But I like that they are kind of influencing each other in their own way.
Mm.
Something we haven't mentioned yet, though, is does Freddy know? It's the does he know meme from the new rock stars, right? Because when these two characters first meet, it is at that department store, and Freddy is drunk. He's taking Lancaster's picture.
No, that's not him.
That's not him.
That's a different portly gentleman.
Are you sure? Am I crazy? Am I? Do I know?
You don't know. That's a different guy. That's just some other guy that Freddy gets into a fight with. It's this man who's there getting his picture taken.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's for his wife or Freddy just asks him, just trying to needle him. Is this for your girlfriend? Is this for your wife?
I could have
And he
sworn
tortures
that was him.
the man. No, he tortures the man by like moving the lights closer and closer, and it gets hotter and hotter. And the guy's like, all right, I'm lit. I take the photo already. And the two of them just get into this nasty man fist fight there in the department store, and they throw Freddy out of the department store.
I'm looking up Master on Tubi again right now.
Tubi.
I could have sworn
no,
it was him.
We don't meet Lancaster until the boat.
Let's see here. Because I was under the impression that was him at the start, because there's this recurring question of like, where do I know you from? Right? They seem to have like there's a recognition between them, that Lancaster Dodd keeps being like, where do I know you from? I've seen you somewhere before. And it's this big long. Oh yeah, you're right. It's not him.
You know who that is? That's W. Earl Brown, who was the voice of the guy leading the caravan in the left-right game.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. You are right. I am wrong. That is not him. But I had it in my mind that was him. For some reason. And that played into a lot of my interpretation of the film. Of like, does Freddy know? Did he knowingly get on that boat? Did he knowingly follow him after this fight that they had? Right, he might want revenge. Right? Is he on this boat to just fuck with this guy and just like screw him over? And he discovers like, oh, you're a leader of a cult. Like, oh, okay, I can play along, right? Which I think even without that scene, you still kind of get those vibes. Like, how much is Freddy in the know, in control of his own decision making here? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Knowing that you just made all of this up. You don't even really buy it. This is just a parlor trick.
Yeah.
This is something you do to make you popular.
Yeah. And there was a really tense moment in the film for me with that interpretation of that being Lancaster Dodd at the mall at the start, where later on he gets to take his picture again on their
cowboy pictures
boat. Yeah. And of course, like that's as we just discovered, that didn't happen. But I was sitting there like, oh man, this is gonna be the moment he recognizes him, being like, it was you. You're the guy that like put that light in my face and made me start sweating. Like, I recognize you. Get off my boat, right? Right. But I guess that is not what happened here.
No. Interesting reading.
Yeah.
That could be a version of this movie of we've crossed paths before.
Yeah.
I think when he's talking about have we met before, it might be sort of I don't want to say social trick, but like a way to ingratiate yourself to somebody. Like they will like you more if they think they have already liked you in the past. Or it may be leaning into what the cause is about, which we haven't talked about. The tenets of it are like using these sort of hypnosis-like techniques to go into your past lives to see what you were in history. Like the idea is that you have your one soul throughout out of all of time, and you go through all these different lives, and you have like, yeah, you have this archival pain, this pain from 1,000 years ago that you need to let go of.
Yeah. The one scene where he gets in the argument with the guy who's like, this just looks like hypnosis, man. Like, what are you up to here? This is a sham. And Lancaster does start to get like he gets hooked into the argument very fast because this guy is so persistent that like, hey, man, this is not right. There's something wrong here. And I like his insult. He just ends his sentence with "fuck pig." Like he's
great insults in here.
It wasn't like he's obviously calling that man a fuck pig, but like that's not the sentence he was saying. Like he's ending, like he's using that insult as a period on the end of his sentence, but not accusing the guy of being that, but is also implying that he is. Like it's just such a weird scene, but like that's the one thing that like really gets him pissed off when like he is challenged by this outsider to be it's all fake, which is then it is, I was about to say it again, is interesting, is juxtaposed with the scene where he has his own follower being like, hey, I found this discrepancy, and he's he's not mad, but at this point he's almost exasperated, like he's just tired. Man, he's just like, it's just, we're expanding the numbers in the data set. Like, just go away, right? Like, and she's like, but no, that contradicts. It doesn't make. And he's just like,
it's hard being the master. Right, maybe that's what he likes Freddy for. He's like, when I'm with Freddy, I can relinquish some control. I am at rest, I am at play, I am at leisure.
The discrepancies
Freddy
don't matter to him.
This guy doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. He just fucks and he just drinks like not even real alcohol. He drinks paint thinner. He does his own mad scientist concoction of stuff that like you are not supposed to ingest.
Some like orange juice flavored paint thinner.
Right, it's orange juice and photo developing chemicals.
Yeah, terrible. And they just like take shots of this stuff and just like, whoa, man. All right, there you go. Like a real strong whiskey, right? Or some gin before they finally narrowed in on what that formula is actually.
Right. He's all about past lives and historic traumatic pain. This is past lives alcohol. This is historic. Multi-generational. This is hooch from a millennia ago that has emerged into 1950.
Oh man, I feel like I need to go make a drink like that now. Something strong that'll make me just go, whoa! All right.
I want to talk about a few more things. The cinematography in this movie. I love the music. I love the sort of where are we going sound of the music, and the way the camera moves. It's like a handy cam. It's clearly on a person's shoulders, and the camera person is moving around like they're nervous to be there. It's like they're hiding. It's like they're sort of shifting around, hiding in all of these volatile social situations. I love a nervous camera.
Yeah, it's nervous, not shaky cam, right? It's not the like Born Identity, like
it's sneaky cam.
What's happening?
There's shaky cam and then there's sneaky cam, and that's what this is.
Yeah, I've certainly been in situations where like I'm at a party or we have people over at our house and like I don't want to be in people's way. Or like when I'm at someone else's house and they're cooking, especially is something that like I like hanging out and being social, but I know this is not my space. I don't want to intrude on your space.
Yeah.
So I just like, do I stand here? Do I go? Do I like, am I in your way? Can I lean here? Like,
this movie is filmed in Ope vision.
Yeah. Like, let me get out of the way. Oh. That's great.
But it has these tight, anxious, big arguments in rooms. But then it will break away to shots like, I love the imagery of the water churning off of the naval ships Freddy was on in World War II. And I love the scene where they go out to the desert, this flat area of the desert with the motorcycle. And the game is just point somewhere and drive the motorcycle that way as fast as you can. And then everyone will get in the car and race you. Like, yeah, Dad, you did it. And then Freddy gets on the motorcycle. Just leaves. Does not stop. He has stolen your bike. And then Lancaster's looking at him through the binoculars and is like, oh, yep, there he goes.
Which is also just a great metaphor for what's happening with them.
Yes.
Just like,
this is
and
not
he came into my life. We can play a game, and then you just left.
You just left. Yeah, everything is like a fun little party game to Lancaster, and Freddy's like, what if I broke this in half?
Yeah.
I'm stealing this.
So I really love the cinematography in this. I think this whole thing was shot on 65 millimeter, which is just absolutely gorgeous. There's something about the way that kind of film captures light in this. It looks beautiful. I think something else I saw briefly while skimming through their Wikipedia page is that they opted to not do any color grading digitally. They all did it like manual by hand on the film itself, and stuff like that, which it really feels like there was an attention to detail on the film and the way this was shot that is very purposeful and not just like, oh yeah, we can fix it in post, right? It's like, no, they captured this light perfectly and they made sure to capture it perfectly.
PTA is a very diligent director. He does movies that are of varying scales. There are smaller, quieter, more intimate movies like Phantom Thread, and then big bombastic things like Boogie Nights and Magnolia in their own way. There Will Be Blood, this massive historic epic. One Battle After Another looks to be a lot more of an action movie than he's done before. I always find him technically very impressive and like very thoughtful about what he's doing. And my favorite thing about him is they're very well-informed character studies. Everybody feels so fleshed out, even if they're not on screen for very long. They do such terrible mistakes. The through line through his films for me is best summed up in something that Adam Sandler's character says in Punch Drunk Love. Punch Drunk Love, a movie I've tried to explain to you multiple times, and it doesn't make sense when I try to explain it because that's just what the film is.
Yeah.
I spend 5 minutes and I don't even get to the pudding. But it is basically a romantic comedy. And at one point, Adam Sandler yells at a foe, played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, that he has a love inside him that makes him powerful. And there's something that William H. Macy says in Magnolia, that he has a lot of love in him to give, but he doesn't know what to do with it. That it's misplaced passion
Mm.
is what goes through these movies, of this massive feeling inside of you that's like lust and joy and passion and love or spite or something, just something of mammoth proportions that is bursting out of you and causes all of this collateral damage because you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to use it for. You don't,
Right.
you have feeling but no channel for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems interesting. That's a good description.
And I think he does movies that aren't always quite comedies, but are very funny. They have these shocking little moments, like when he passes the note that just says, "Do you want to fuck?" Smiley face. They're packed full of moments like that. That's why I pushed you away from There Will Be Blood. I'm like, even though this might be his most well-known and most acclaimed film, I'm like, it's not funny enough. And I think he's so good at humor. I wanted to show you a more humorous movie.
Yeah. I think this ended up working out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I have much else to say on this stuff. Do you have any other things you want to mention and bring up?
I've been thinking about Joaquin Phoenix. There's not another actor like him. And watching this movie, I thought, is he handsome? Like, I guess he's technically handsome, but he's doing everything in his power to distract you from that. He's like, I am going to contort my face and my body. I'm going to give you the creepiest smile you've ever seen. I'm going to do this Kubrick stare. I'm going to like hunch in the shadows. I'm going to bend over in half. I'm going to make my body all like terrible, violent angles.
Yeah.
I'm just going to play nothing but like creepazoids and freakazoids. And like, I think the fact that he's handsome, objectively handsome, is like your 100th thing you're thinking about when he's on screen.
Because like the scene where he gets out of jail and comes back to the house and he shows up and Lancaster Dodd like comes down the steps and they hug and then they fall over and start wrestling and stuff like that. And he rips his pant leg, all of that stuff. Like it's a charming like boys will be boys kind of moment. And like that kind of moment, the handsomeness can shine through. Even though you see that scene from far away, there is a charm to it, right? Of just like, yeah, good moment. They're having fun. They're laughing, even if it's still maybe a little weird or too much at times. It's like too intense, right? But still, it's just like I see what's happening here. Charming, handsome.
It's there, and it's he doesn't play into it. He doesn't play into it at all. And like I've been thinking, and I don't know his filmography exhaustively. There's things I haven't seen. But like, is the only time Joaquin Phoenix has ever played like a normal man who you could see yourself like going on a date with, having a beer with. I think it's when he's the uncle in Signs. I think that's it. His one normal, approachable guy is baseball normal, uncle in Sign. That's really outside of a lot of what else he does. And it's funny that when I think of him screaming in the closet in Signs. Maybe a career highlight for him.
It's
one of the best things. What? I'm just panicked wearing the tinfoil hat.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I've seen on cinema in my lifetime. Great stuff.
Yeah, great stuff indeed. Bingo check-in time.
Bingo. All right, what do we got?
Let me pull this up. Where's the bingo button? There it is. Bam. My eyes immediately go to one. We described him as such. Villain with a pet.
Yes.
Now, we meant this obviously with the like stroking a cat that's like sitting on his lap or something like that. But I feel like this fits the spirit of that. And you did describe
yes.
already as a pet.
That's true. I'll give you that.
That gives me that one.
It's cool that Lancaster is a boat, but I don't know if I'd call that a villain lair quite yet.
Yeah, no.
Will you give me magic book?
Sure. I think that's in the spirit of it.
Yes. And it's a book that is just a bunch of nonsense, but to characters like Laura Dern has magic power. And when I think of magic books we've encountered in our history on the review show, I think of that fantasy novel that Michael Clayton's son is reading that then the guy gets and he's like, this is real. I live by the book now. Now I have 20 baguettes.
Yeah.
That's spiritually similar.
Let's see.
That gives me my first bingo.
Oh, nice.
Finally, I have one.
Oh, yeah, you got your diagonal there. Awesome. I think that's it. I don't have enough to get cool stepdad.
Sorry.
Not in that one. Okay. I think that is our bingo check-in, unless you have something else that I missed here.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
we've spotted a cow all year. Where are cows at?
Or if we did, it just didn't register, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the same way that you described Ferretti as a pet, I described the boat as a cow. I'm willing to give you that one for spiritually cow. There it is.
I want to see that was a very good metaphor, but I want to see a real cow.
All right. Well, that is our bingo check-in. Congratulations to getting your first bingo of the year. Recommendations. Let's move on to that. Melissa, for people that enjoyed this movie, what else might they like?
Going through our history here on the review show, on episode 189, we watched The Power of the Dog, which resulted in an Oscar nomination for Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
Good work. On episode 200,
I would say halfway in, I was like, man, this movie is really boring. But by the end, I was like, great, loved it.
A movie that really takes its time to show you what it is.
Yeah.
Also a movie that is a drama, perhaps even a thriller, but has the single hardest time I've ever laughed watching anything for this show.
Sure, yeah.
On episode 279, we watched Under the Silver Lake.
That would have been one that I was recommending, yeah.
A top-notch buffoon drama. Our buffoon here is Andrew Garfield, just squirming around hipster Los Angeles trying to solve a mystery that does have some cultish findings at the end of it. And on episode 307, we watched season 1 of Severance. All of the cause sessions in this movie where Lancaster Dodd is making you do all of the repeated statements.
Yeah.
That felt Lumen to me.
Yeah. And the idea of the dualities, the dichotomies between identity and stuff like that. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Other buffoon dramas I love: Barry Lyndon, The Swimmer, Uncut Gems, The Lighthouse. This really reminded me of The Lighthouse in that it's just mind games between two men and there's farting. Two good fart movies. Catch Me If You Can. Have you ever seen that?
I have, but it's been a long time ago.
Early Amy Adams performance. Yeah. And another trickster character who keeps lying his way in and out of globetrotting travels.
Mm-hmm.
The Wolf of Wall Street, a movie where you meet a guy and he just howls and pounds his chest. And you watch a guy make a series of very, very terrible decisions. Look for Leonardo DiCaprio teaming up with Paul Thomas Anderson soon in One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
Really like Joaquin Phoenix and Napoleon. So Napoleon is half war stuff and half like Napoleon's private life with Josephine. And it's the Josephine stuff that really hits. And he's such a little weirdo in that movie. He goes up to Josephine and literally just whimpers like a little kitten when he wants to have sex with her. He's just like, sex, please. And she's like, fine, get it over with.
The one thing I remember when you described that movie to me after you saw it was like, there's a scene where he's having sex and he just makes the weirdest noise.
He sounds like a car. He sounds like a jalopy. He just does jalopy noises.
There's like they say, jalopy till you floppy, so...
Jalopy till you floppy. There's a great series of films that can be described as Joaquin Phoenix has weird sex. It's that. It's Beau is Afraid.
Oh my God.
A lot of options. And finally, I feel like this was a good practice run for Rami Malek's work in Oppenheimer as just guy you forget is there, who's just sort of hanging around and ultimately is witness to terrible events.
Oh, man.
And the rest of the work of Paul Thomas Anderson. Boogie Nights, incredible. I've not seen his very first feature, Hard Eight. Hard Eight is the one I haven't seen yet. Magnolia, I'm going to make you watch Magnolia with me. We must talk Magnolia. Now that you've had a little bit of a primer, a movie that's just weird enough, we can go to Magnolia. Punch Drunk Love. You got to see it to believe it. There Will Be Blood, the big hit. Phantom Thread, a romantic movie about poison and dresses and breakfast. Inherent Vice. This also stars Joaquin Phoenix. My favorite part of Inherent Vice is when Josh Brolin eats a weed. He just takes like a big hunk of the good dank kush and just bites into it like a brontosaurus bites into a tree. It's so funny. And then Licorice Pizza, his most recent movie. PTA and Philip Seymour Hoffman had a number of wonderful collaborations together. And Licorice Pizza stars his son, Cooper Hoffman, as just a teenage trickster, just a boy with so many get-rich-quick schemes.
Okay, sounds good.
That one's fun. Those are my suggestions. Kyle, what do you have?
Cool. Well, one more from our back catalog. On episode 278, we talked about Ingmar Bergman's Persona. Another great one for identities, dualities, who's influencing
which
who.
One of us is which.
Yeah. I thought that would be a good one to check out. Yeah, this movie has like character assuming other characters' identity without it really being in there. But there's a lot of movies out there that I think would be good recommendations that are like of that ilk there. Oh God, what was the one? The director, I think it was him. The Killing of a Sacred Deer guy. That
Yorgos Lanthimos.
The guy, yeah. The one where he licks the bathtub. What was that one called again?
The one where he licks the bathtub.
Is that it? Who's the
Saltburn?
Saltburn.
The only Saltburn. Barry Keoghan. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
talking about the director. Saltburn's a good one.
He directed that one though, right?
Yorgos Lanthimos directed The Killing of a Sacred Deer, starring Barry Keoghan, who did lick the bathtub in Saltburn, among other things.
Who directed Saltburn?
Emerald Fennell.
Okay, so someone else completely then. Yeah, but that one is also kind of like this assumed identity.
Those are two great movies for weird little gremlin comes into your life.
When I was looking up recommendations and stuff, I did see someone mention Killing of a Sacred Deer. I have not
Have you
watched that
seen
one
that?
yet.
Oh,
So
I love
that's
it.
why
Kyle,
I
please, please, let's do it. That movie is such, I describe it as a riot. I really want to know if you turn it on and feel the same way or think I'm insane.
You've recommended it to me multiple times. I'm excited to eventually check it out because I also saw someone online that I follow watch it and come out just angry. Just so mad. Just like
I understand.
This
I
movie is
understand.
so
Yes.
horrible.
Yes. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying the person it works on is me.
Yeah. I'm excited to check that one out eventually. What else did I write down here? Let me go back to my notes. Ripley, the Netflix series,
good one.
Which is also based on a book, but there's also the Talented Mr. Ripley movie. I think is another good one for guy comes into your life and then kind of takes your identity and just right.
Yes. Also starring Talented Mr. Ripley, also starring Philip Seymour Hoffman. Now, while watching The Master, I realized this movie had 3 different actors who had played characters named Freddy, because Joaquin Phoenix here is named Freddy. Rami Malek played Freddie Mercury and Philip Seymour Hoffman played Freddie Lounds in Red Dragon.
Triple Freddy.
I also wanted to recommend Night at the Museum, Battle of the Smithsonian. Just because I watched this and thought about Rami Malek and Amy Adams both being in that movie. That's a movie with such a deep bench of actors. I think in any given year, there's like 3 different movies that could be described as a Battle of the Smithsonian reunion.
We need to update our bingo list, and it's not an actor from Lost. It's an actor from Battle for the Smithsonian.
Right, a living museum exhibit from the Night at the Museum films is our new category of actor we have to see if we find.
Yeah, and then something else I saw, I want a second Under the Silver Lake, especially with the like culty vibes there. I think if you want more of the cult vibes, this movie definitely has it, especially by the end of what is happening. But then also, I'm going to recommend V for Vendetta, which is an interesting one.
Never seen it.
This is... I'm not recommending it because I think it's similar in plot or tone, but like a weird tangential, like, why not check this one out? So according to the Wikipedia, one of the influences is a novel called V by Thomas Pynchon, which is also an influence on V for Vendetta. The plot of the novel V, it describes the exploits of a discharged U.S. Navy sailor, Benny Profane, and his reconnection in New York with a group of pseudo-bohemian artists and hangers-on known as the Whole Sick Crew, and their quest of an aging traveler named Herbert Stencil to identify and locate the mysterious entity he knows only as V. So, I mean, that sounds like a great recommendation too. I've not read that book. Yeah,
there's something that's so
guy named V for Vendetta. It feels just like a tangential. Check it out. Why not?
This was so obvious I didn't even write it down. The Brutalist. Another reason I wanted you to watch The Master is that it was a influence on The Brutalist. You can see a lot of Lancaster Dodd in Guy Pearce in that movie. The way he talks, the way he carries himself, his 2 weird kids. That whole movie takes place in Pennsylvania. Lancaster is a part of Pennsylvania. Coincidence?
There's no such thing as coincidence. There's only the illusion of coincidence, as V in V for Vendetta says. I just started rereading that comic. I'm following along with a podcast that I listen to.
Oh,
And
fun.
They're starting an Alan Moore section. So they're reading V for Vendetta right now. But yeah, those are my recommendations. So yeah, Melissa, let's introduce what we are going to be talking about next on the podcast.
Next, we are going to watch seasons 1 and 2 of The Americans, the 2013 FX drama set in Cold War 1980s America about 2 Russian KGB spies who have been living undercover with a sham undercover marriage for decades. And now they've been married for 20 years and they have 2 kids and they look like the perfect picture of suburban life, but secretly they're spies.
Yeah. This is a show that I have been wanting to watch for a while. One that we've been wanting to talk about on the show for a long time. And it just kept getting kicked down the road. And we are finally being like, hey, let's start watching this show. In fact, this is basically what we're going to be watching for the rest of the year.
Yes.
I think
we're going to take one break for Halloween.
Yes. Yeah. Kind of halfway in the show because there's 6 seasons of the Americans, 7 or something like that.
Let me double check our schedule. Yes.
But yeah, we're going to be watching seasons 1 and 2 next time here on the podcast. And then every time we talk about the show after that, we will be covering a single season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we're doubling up on seasons 1 and 2 so that we could take a break halfway through and do something for Halloween.
Yeah. So yeah, that will basically take us through the end of the year with the Americans. I'm excited to talk about this show. I just finished season 1 a couple days ago.
I think I'll finish it today.
I have not started season 2 yet, but yeah, I think we'll have a lot of fun talking about this. When I mentioned it online, everyone was like, "Ah, great show, incredible slow burn show," and those are like the only things I have ever heard about this show. That it's just fantastic.
I don't know a lot of specifics about it.
Yeah. So there you go. That is what we will be covering next time. The Americans, season 1 and 2. I'm excited about that. But let's wrap things up right there. Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
Please email me at yourhostmelissa@gmail.com. What's your favorite PTA movie? Who's your favorite side character in Magnolia? Let me know.
There you go. Good stuff. If you guys want to stay up to date with me, I am at Yo Kyle Springer. And if you'd like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at thewhatnauts.com on Blue Sky. So please go like, share, and subscribe. You guys know the deal with all of that. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out more of our videos right over there on that side of the screen. That would also help us out a bunch. And yeah, this has been number 325 of the Whatnauts review show. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.